Do you ever feel like you're trying to do all of these things in your business and it just feels so heavy? And you're wondering, why is this so overwhelming to me? I'm doing all of the things that I need to do. Well, what I see a lot of times in high achieving women is this. Something feels off in your business, and instead of zoning in on that one thing that might feel off, instead, you start to look other places. You start to look everywhere. You tweak your offer, you rethink your niche, you question your pricing, and then you wonder, why isn't this all working? I am exhausted. I'm trying all of these things. And that's what makes it feel so heavy. And so today, what we're going to be really focusing on is how can you actually focus on one thing at a time versus opening up all of these different areas that might fix what's going on. Because if we don't zone into one area, we're just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that it works. And sometimes that can be helpful, but sometimes that can be exhausting. So today we are going to focus on sorting. And there are three places where this heaviness or this overwhelming feeling can come from. And so we're going to look at those three places to make sure that you're aligning your business in these three areas. The first area that you want to look at is your structure or your foundation. Before you start questioning yourself of why is this not working, just first check your setup, okay? And ask yourself, is what I'm offering actually clear? So is what I am sharing with people clear to them, not just clear to me? Is this simple? Or am I sharing all of these different things and it feels really messy, whether it's in front of them or behind the scenes? A lot of times, our businesses we make them harder than it needs to be because we're trying to do all of these different things. So if our structure is off, it gets overwhelming and it feels heavy. So that's the first area you want to look at is your structure. And in my blueprint program, I call this your foundation work. The second area we want to look at is our alignment. So, is what we're doing actually aligned to what we want to, or is what we're doing aligned to what brings us passion, what makes us happy? Do I actually want more of this? Because a lot of times burnout, it's oftentimes this overworking of doing things that doesn't really align with what we enjoy in our life. Maybe at one time it fit, but it doesn't fit anymore. And when this happens, you can be super, super disciplined, right? But as you continue, if you're not enjoying what you do, you start to feel drained. And that's what leads to the burnout because it's misalignment from what you want to be doing. So make sure that you're focusing on the alignment, which in my program I call the heart work, because you have to enjoy what you are doing at some capacity. And the third area that you want to look at is your belief system. You want to look at what is going on in your mind as you are doing all this work and ask yourself, where am I hesitating? What feels uncomfortable about growing right now? What are these different thoughts that are going in my head that might be impacting my desire to be more visible or my fear of being judged or what will happen if I get successful? What are those thoughts that are creating the barriers? Because a lot of times we try to avoid those thoughts by adding more things. And so in this work that we do, we really want to look at our mind work as well. And that is the third area. So again, instead of asking, what's wrong with me? I want you to start asking about your business. Is this structured? Is this aligned with my heart, with what I want to do? Or is there a belief that might be getting in the way of me taking that next step? And those three questions alone will save you months of spinning because it's really allowing you to zone in versus just trying to throw all of these things out there. And if you want real change, start checking in once a month and do this because When you start looking at those three areas, it's going to help you clean up one thing in your structure, right? By looking at your structure, you just focus on cleaning up one thing. And when you look at your alignment, you can just focus on what's one area that maybe isn't feeling aligned. And then what is one area where maybe my beliefs are impacting my success? They're getting in the way of me moving forward. And that's it. Each month, look at one piece of each of those areas. And that in itself will help you start making choices that align with what you want to do and will help you be more successful. Again, you don't have to rebuild everything from the bottom up. You are just refining your process to be more aligned with who you are and what you want to provide. So if you want help figuring out which of these is actually blocking your growth, I do have a free business barriers quiz, and I'll put that below. That will just walk you through, ask you different questions. And at the end, not only will it share an area that you are struggling with in your business, but it will also provide some ideas of how to take next steps. And if you want a little extra support, I always offer a free clarity and strategy coaching call for 30 minutes. And if you want to jump on there, just navigate where you are in your journey of your business, whether you're at the beginning, the middle, further along, that clarity call can sometimes help just provide one step into the direction to help you get unstuck. So feel free to check that out below as well. But I want to just leave you with this one thing. Growth doesn't have to feel chaotic. It does not. It can be overwhelming because it's pushing us to a different level, but it doesn't have to be chaotic. When you know where to look, everything will start to feel lighter. You'll start to feel more aligned with what you're choosing. You'll start to feel clearer on why you're making certain choices. And that in itself helps with the sustainable growth. So thank you for checking out the series. If you missed any of the other videos in the series, make sure you check out all of the different options above or check out other series that I have provided and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one.